What's up, guys? Magical Libra here today, and today we're going to do sort of a ban list prediction, sort of my opinion kind of video today. So I have some notes, which I conveniently just forgot that I left it up here. So let me grab it real quick. Okay. So I've got some notes to the side of what cards that I want to come off the ban list, or that I think will, or I just have questions about why are you still here. Honestly, like I always say in almost every video, guys, comment down below what you think, especially on this video, because this is such a type of video where people are sensitive to this type of stuff because it's the ban list and people are like, oh no, what are you thinking? So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into the video, guys. So I am gonna go off my notes here real quick, but like throughout the video. But as we go through the ban list, I am going to look at some cards and be like, why is this here? So starting off with the, obviously the TCG, the advanced format, everything is banned right here. So you got Astrograph Sorcerer, the regular stuff. I'm not going to read every single card. Dandelion permanently needs to be there. But I do have some cards already on the ban list I have pointed out. And let's just go through here real quick. We got Level Eater. I mean, I somewhat remember its effect. I'm not going to look up every card effect. In fact, I can't because my phone is my recording software. But, I could, we could look it up. But, for those of you to make it simple, let's just be like, I think this, instead of me going up and looking up what it does for you guys, and it just takes too long. So Level Leader, I don't really know what it does, but I think I'm familiar with it a little bit. It could go to 1, but I'm pretty sure Level Leader's a synchro monster, so I don't know how good that would be or how broken that would be, but I think Level Eater can go to 1. I actually, just to spoil the fun, guys, I don't have any cards that I think should be banned. But there are certain cards I think should go to 1, including Dragoon. Dragoon should go to 1. Definitely it should go to 1. Because people are just playing the crap out of Dragoon. And yeah, I play 2 Dragoon, but it is pretty broken. But there's also a lot of other cards that are broken too. So let's just go ahead and go down this list. All right, Max He will forever stay that way. Let's see here. Forge plus fire. All right. I want to say I'm just gonna start with Yata-Garasu, guys. I'm just gonna start with Yata-Garasu. You're like, what are you starting with Yata-Garasu? It's permanently going to be banned. Yes, but they recently just came out with another card that's almost identical to Yata-Garasu, and it's at 3 right now. Well, technically, it's in the OCG, so it hasn't really hit TCG yet, but they're coming out with the card pack in OCG. So it could be the very next Yata-Garasu. And so I was thinking, if we errata Yata-Garasu, it could come back to 3. Kind of like, Emperor Dragon, It could come back to 3 if they errata its effect. Because it would still be kind of cool to play the Yata-Garasu lock, but it's not really a lock. It's more of just, oh cool, you did that this turn, I can draw next turn. Or, like, you can't constantly do the Yata-Garasu lock, but you could try to somewhat do the Yata-Garasu lock, and then next turn they would still be able to draw or do something. And, like, maybe, I don't know what Emperor Dragon does anymore. I don't think it destroys everything. I don't remember, but I think it would, if you errata Yata-Garasu, you could limit it to like 2 or 3. So it would just be pretty cool for that card to come off the list. Not for it to be broken like it is already. Alright, so next on my list is Elder Entity Norden. I actually have this card, and I was thinking about playing it, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, wait, you're banned? Why? There are a lot of people that do play Xyz, and if you're playing a Synchro, then yeah, you can get Norden off, and then you can summon out a level 4. Big whoop. Alright, I don't know what level 4 is so broken that you would summon with Norden, but Norden, apparently they banned him either way back when because he was either broken or because there was a specific card everybody played. but I'm not really seeing that level 4 monster or lower monster everybody plays. So I think Norden could come back to 1, possibly 3. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below, because I would really like to hear your opinion on this. All right. Next up is our Link monsters. All right. We're just gonna skip the rest of those because Starving Venom is broken. I know it's broken. I don't know about Thunder Dragon Colossus. I don't really know anything about Thunder Dragons except for get rid of that, except for Thunder Dragon. So yeah. Link Cross recently got banned. Understandable completely. Stay there for a while, please. Alright, Summon Sorceress. Alright, this thing is not broken, like, at all. It doesn't do anything. Why is this card even here? I say that the next ban list, this thing is going to come back to 2 or 3. Like, a definite 3. 100%. Because, honestly, this would help my deck out. It would help other slow decks out. And not a whole lot of people competitively, you might see it just because it came off the ban list and people are excited to use it. But you might see it that way, but it's not going to be that competitive because she just summons out a monster pretty much. Like, that's not super broken. I think she summons out 2. I don't quite remember her effect, but it's decently useful for possibly Link summoning by building up your Link, but it's not really that powerful. So yeah, I would say she's going to come back to 3, like 100%. All right. And I don't understand why Ancient Fairy Dragon is banned. I haven't really looked her up, or I know what she does. It doesn't seem broken, but I don't know every card in the world. So yeah, Ancient Fairy Dragon is just that weird card when I came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, wait, what? One of the legendary dragons are banned? One of the 7 dragons? What? Why? But yeah, because I came back in 2020, so I quit in 2018. Ancient Fairy Dragon was alive and breathing at 3, and then I came back, and then she's dead, and I'm like, wait, why? So yeah, completely understandable. All right, Laval Chain. I don't know what it does, but seeing that's a Laval, it might come back at 1. I don't know what it does. If it's super broken, probably not. But not gonna look up every card for you guys on here. But you know, Laval Chain is just stop. So let's go ahead and scroll right down here to number 42, Galaxy Tomahawk. This is a rank 7 monster, which I completely think it should come back to 1 because it would help some slow decks out, like Dark Magician, Red Eyes, Blue Eyes. You know, just a lot of decks that play level 7s. I know Blue Eyes plays 8, and generally they play 8, but I mean, there is a level 7 engine that they can play, so I mean, it's just decent. All right, so there's a lot of slow decks out there that can play this, and I think it would really help slow decks out, like, because the way the ban list works is it really kind of takes the slower decks, and when they ban a card that helps the slower deck, it just shuts them off for competitive play 100%, and they're stuck to just casual play. So in my opinion, the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Should work, instead of pulling out all these new cards that do stuff and only pulling out all these new cards that do stuff, they should also like make it to where the ban list can also help support the slower decks as well, or make more support for slower decks so people can still play their favorite deck but also play it competitively. Like, for example, Dark Magician. Since I am the Dark Magician duelist, I guess, because I always play that deck 100%. I love playing other decks, like, don't get me wrong, like the new Machine Earth Machine deck, like that, I love it. But yeah, I think number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk could really go to 1, like 100%. Like, it doesn't really seem that broken. It just, I don't quite remember what it does. I think it summons out a token, but that's it. Or it makes something invincible. I don't remember. I'm gonna claim short-term memory loss since I do have that. All right, so anyway, we're gonna move on down. to the spells, all right? Because the rest of this can just stay where it's at. All right, so since they unbanned Harpy's Feather Duster, because they got it at 1, they got Raigeki at 1, they got all the good cards at 1. Let's go straight down to all these spell and trap removals, and let's go find them. So Giant Trunade, all right, it returns all spell and trap cards on the field to the hand, all right? Sweet. I think Giant Trunade should come back to 1, all right, in the next ban list. Like 100%, I think Giant Trunade is going to come back to 1. And it's between Giant Trunade or Heavy Storm. So it's either between these two cards that one of them is going to get limited to just 1 card only. Because it's not going to be both, because then that would just be like super broken back row removal 100%. It's like Heavy Storm destroys all the cards, but Giant Trunade just returns them all. So like limit one of them and leave the other one on the ban list, Konami, just to kind of play with it to see how good it would work in the meta. And if it's like super broken, then go put it back on the ban list, because that's what you guys do. Like you unban a card and make it limited 1, like Raigeki, to see how it affects the meta. And you got Morphing Jar at 1. You got all these really powerful cards at 1 that not a whole lot of people use. Like the slower decks, they use it, but it doesn't really make them super competitive. So, yeah. So, it's either Heavy Storm or Giant Trunade. Just one of those two is going to get limited, on the next ban list, is my prediction. All right. And the last one, I guess I'm going to mention it. Where are you? You're down here somewhere. You're into peas. Premature Burial. All right. This card, he's banned for a reason. Simply because if you play a card that returns all spell and traps to the hand, such as Giant Trunade, then you can keep the monster you already have on your field and play it again. So I would say between Giant Trunade and Premature Burial, one of these cards is going to come back. And most likely Giant Trunade will come back and Premature Burial will stay on the ban list, or they'll bring back Premature Burial and they won't do anything with Heavy Storm or Giant Trunade. So it's between one of those 3 cards. One of them is going to get limited, and the rest will stay on the ban list. In my prediction, I know you're like, yeah, this guy's crazy, but it's just what I think. It's what I think, guys. What I think. All right. Let's go down to the semi-limited cut. Last turn, I love you. Please come back. But let's go down on to the limited cards. My bad, not semi. Let's go ahead. Arms, legs, stay there, please. Like I love this deck, but just stay at 1, please. All right. Armageddon Knight is all right. You could probably put him at 2, and it would be okay. Clap Serpent is Black Dragon, Clap Serpent, and White Dragon Wyvern Buster are pretty good cards. Limiting them is just they thin out the deck, so I understand why they're limited, because they thin themselves. They search themselves repeatedly, so I can understand why. But they are once per turn card effects, so they are card manipulation to bring themselves from the deck to the hand by banishing themselves. So, I don't know. You could probably make them both semi-limited, or just keep them limited like they are. I mean, it's not going to really change anything other than pretty much giving Rockets and Dragon decks more cards to play with, pretty much. It's not really gonna meta change everything. It's not gonna be like, oh my god, Clap Serpent, what? Wyvern Buster, oh my god, you play 2? No, it's not gonna be anything like that. It's just be like, okay, cool. Alright. So let's go ahead. Dark Grepher, yeah, he can stay limited for a while, but I think he's gonna come back to 2 pretty soon. Possibly 3. But probably going to stay at 1 for a while and then come back to 2. He's going to work his way up. Alright. So let's go ahead and scroll on down here. Let's go to the R's. They're like right here. There's only 1 R. Alright, we'll get to you in a minute. Red Eyes, we'll get to you in a minute. Alright, so The Gen X Alley Birdman, Gen X Alley cards are not really that great anymore. Nobody really plays them, so you could probably take him and make him 2, and it wouldn't really do anything. Because, I mean, I don't really know what he does, but I mean, Gen X Allies, you never see anybody play them, so you could probably unban all their cards. You'd probably see a few people play them. So, yeah. Let's go ahead. Morphing Jar is actually pretty good. Like, for, like, flip monster decks, this is a really great card. And it, in my opinion, nobody plays this card, but if this card were to go at 2, you might see it being played in some decks, but you don't really see a whole lot of people playing flip monsters anymore. So Morphing Jar could probably go to 2, and it would be okay. All right, Night Assailant, I freaking don't I know what this card does. This thing was like, I don't remember if it came out in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I know this thing was in GX because I played with this thing on like the GX DS game like all the time. So I know what Night Assailant does. I have no freaking idea why this thing is limited. Like, make him go back to 3. Like, why are you on the ban list? I don't get this. All right, Sky Blaster summons tokens. Like we know he limited for a reason. Now, because Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon has been errated and you can only special summon once per turn, and you can only summon him that way once per turn, and people generally send him to the grave and then summon him from the grave or summon him from the deck. Like, you only get to use his special summon effect once per turn. So this card could easily go back to 3, and it may help some Red Eyes users. It may help some Dragon decks, but I mean, you can only use it once per turn. It's a hard once per turn effect, so playing it at 3 wouldn't really change anything. In fact, it might break your deck up unless you're playing a solid Dragon deck and you can just get rid of any Dragon and you don't care. But yeah, this thing, next ban list, I'm predicting this thing is going to 2, and my bets, it is going to 3. It is 100% going to 3. And if I'm wrong, it's probably going to go to 2. But if it doesn't go anywhere, then it's not really that big deal. I mean, he's errated. Come on, Konami. Like, unlimit this card. Make it go to 2 or 3. Like, come on. Come on. All right. Next one on my list is the S's. Speedroid Terratop. So I know how good this card is. If this thing would work for me. Speedroid Terratop. Alright, so Speedroid Terratop is actually a really good starter card for the Speedroids. And you don't really see this card being played or Speedroid engines being played in any other decks except for the Speedroid deck. At least I haven't anyway. So Speedroid Terratop, it's limited right now, so I would say put this thing at 2 and see how it would change the meta. Because I think playing it at 2, playing at 3 is a little bit broken. But playing at 2 seems pretty evened out for today's meta. I think you might see more Speedroid cards because of the new Speedroid cards that are coming. Speedroid cards that are coming out in the new sets released in the OCG. So I think putting it at 2 would actually help the deck and would actually make it a little bit meta, just a little. All right. Wyverbuster, we mentioned him earlier with Black Dragon Clap Serpent. I mean, it wouldn't change anything if both of them got limited to 2. I mean, it really wouldn't. It's just a small card advantage, like by 1 or 2. Not really. They thin themselves out of the deck. They get rid of themselves to add themselves. They just thin your deck out. That's all they do. All right. Let's see here. Spells. All right. So the rest of these they can just stay limited. Because I don't really know what they are or what they do. I hate TGs, they take forever. Alright, let's see here. Called by the Grave, where are you? Called by the Grave. Put this thing back at 3. Come on, Konami. Like, you have so many freaking hand traps now. Like, it's just playing 1 against a player who plays like 6 or 9 hand traps. Like, come on. You only give us one way to stop a hand trap. Like, there's other ways we can negate hand traps with our negates, but like, who's gonna be playing a bunch of negates other than like those types of decks? Like, come on, give other decks a chance. Like, make this thing go back to 3, or at least limit it to 2. Because I'm projecting this thing will go back to 2. It may not be this ban list, but it may be the next ban list or the ban list after that. This Call by the Grave is going to 2. All right, come on, guys. Who's with me? All right. So I actually looked up this card because this next card actually. I looked it up because it seemed interesting. Where's the eyes? Into the Void. I looked this card up and it seems extremely slow. I was wondering to myself, why? Why are you limited? What in the world caused you to get limited? I have no idea. But I say this card go back to 3, take it off the ban list because it's not that great. It's not that great at all unless there's some broken card out there that you need to limit this card because this card was always played with that card. If so, then I get it. Keep it limited. Who cares? But right now, as this card stands, just by its own effect, it's not so broken you need to limit it, semi-limit it, or make it unlimited completely, because this thing is not horrible, like, at all. Like, it's not bad. It's decent. It's very slow. But yeah, just unlimit this thing, Konami. Why is this thing even here? All right. So actually, I was looking, and I know what slash draw does. If I can find it, SL slash draw. I understand why this thing is here. All right. I understand why this is here because if you play even 2 slash draw, then you have the chance to use its effect. All right. Now there is a possible chance where you play slash draw and then you somehow, like, I don't know, Soul Servant. You can't use Soul Servant, but like you use a card like Soul Servant to put your slash draw that you just played on top of the deck, and then let slash draw's effect activate that was on the field to draw the slash draw you just put on top of your deck. That's the only way to use slash draw's effect. Like, only way to draw slash draw using slash draw to use the slash draw effect that can horribly mess up your opponent. All right, so limiting this card was a very smart brain move on Konami's play, like 100%. But why would you limit a card and do this to this card? It's like you gave this card the middle finger and said, here, you can play with a Pot of Greed that says draw 0 cards. Like, that's what you did with slash draw when you limited it. I'm just like, why? Can you please just ban it? That way, like, we get the idea it's too powerful. Why would you limit it? Let somebody choose to play it, and it's like, it's a brick. It's really horrible. Like, if you only play once, like, yeah, like, why is this thing limited? Just ban it. It's not that great if you can only play one. So yeah, and the last of our spells that are limited is Upstart Goblin. I say Upstart Goblin can go to, I say it can go to 2, because it's not really, I mean, you get rid of one to draw one. There's literally a card like that right now called, it's for the Dark World deck. Dark World Dealings, alright? Each player draws a card, discards a card. Upstart Goblin. You played that card to draw a card. Also, your opponent gains 1,000 life points instead of drawing a card. Like, besides your opponent getting a card, they get life points. It's the same thing as Dark World Dealings, like, straight up. Like, it's not the exact same effect, but it's basically the same outcome. You get a card, your opponent gets life points instead of a card. And you got rid of your card like you got rid of Dark World Dealings by playing it. So now you have another card. Alright? Dark World Dealings, in fact, Upstart Goblin should be at 3 and Dark World Dealings should be at 1, because Dark World Dealings, and I know you Dark World players, I love the Dark World deck too, but still, Dark World Dealings, you play it, so you got rid of a card in your hand. You then draw a card and discard another card. Alright? Card advantage right there by cycling through your deck. Not getting more cards than what you started with, but still, that's pretty broken. Like, your opponent gets to do the same thing, and you can activate Dark World Dealings, like, all three of them at one time. Like, you can chain them. Like, not chain them, but, like, you can activate it, do its effect, activate it, do its effect, activate it, do its effect. Alright? So, I'm just wondering, like, if Dark World Dealings is at 3, then why is Upstart Goblin at 1? Like, it's not even... Your opponent gains life points. The only way this is good for you is if you play a life point based type of deck, or if you play, hint, hint, my Exodia deck, where you want your opponent to have a crap ton of life points just so you can play the escape trap card to draw cards equal to the difference. But yeah, like, that would be the only really good reason why Upstart Goblin would be good in any way. So I would promote Upstart Goblin to go to 2 for this meta, because it's not really that powerful. It really isn't. Alright. And the last card on my list. Alright. Let's go ahead and look at the last card. Magical Explosion is limited for a reason. Looked at its effect. Oh my god. Late game, that's a lot of inflict damage. 200 for every spell card. Oh my god. Alright. Red Reboot, you could probably make Red Reboot go to 2, and it might be somewhat useful in today's meta, but I've played at countless tournaments at my locals, and I've only seen one player play a Red Reboot. That's it. So if you were to make it go at 2, some people might use it, they might not. It's whatever. Like, it helps your opponent get trap cards out on the field, but it prevents them from activating trap cards, and you get to freely negate a trap card. So, I mean, it is limited for that reason, because you freely can negate a card. You can't let them activate any more trap cards for the rest of that turn, but so you do 2 things against them, alright, but they get to set another trap card from the deck of their choice. Of course, they can't activate it, but you get to let them have that advantage. And that's if you have Red Reboot set, all right? But if you can also do all of that if you activate it from your hand at the cost. So you're giving your opponent another advantage of half your life points. So it's pretty evened out unless you set your Red Reboot. Then in that case, you have 2 advantages and your opponent only has 1. But if you activate it from your hand, it's an even card to play. So I would say put Red Reboot at 2, just to see how it would work in the meta, and then if it doesn't work out, put it back at 1. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. Alright? Like, it really isn't. Alright, so next is my very last card. All them, they're all unlimited. That was from the recent ban list, of course. They're just going to stay that way for a while. But Destiny Hero Malicious. You get rid of this card to get another one out, and I think you can only do that once per turn, so making this card at 3 would be pretty good. I mean, he's literally the only semi-limited card on the entire ban list. Like, do you need to constantly hit this man just because, like why? Like, he's not really that great. Put him back at 3, Konami. I mean, come on. For real. Like, he's the only semi-limited, and he's not even that great. So, come on. Alright? So, that is going to be it for my ban list prediction, guys. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. Let's go to Forbidden. Let's go to Spell Cards. Hey, look at that card. Bring it back to 1. No, it's not going to happen. But, like, for real. That's gonna be it, guys, for the video. That's my ban list prediction for this coming ban list that will be coming up pretty soon in the next month, I believe. Is it June or July? I don't remember. But anyway, does it say when the next ban list? Yes, next updated app will be no later than July 1st. So this upcoming ban list in July 1st, around that time. So I just want to be accurate. That is my ban list prediction for the July 1st ban list, guys. So if you liked what I said, if you disliked what I said, if you have your opinion on what I said, or if you differ from me, or if you agree with me, please go down to the comment section and comment your opinion down below, because I really respect that and I love to conversate with you guys down there in the chat. So 100% leave your comment down below, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and a like, guys. I really appreciate that. And that is going to be it. Magical Libra signing off.